Democrats. It's Tuesday, May 3rd, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Got tons and tons of stuff to talk about, as I told you yesterday. But before that, a word from our sponsor.
Don't have time to wash your car yourself? Tired of going to the automatic car wash and getting lackluster results? You better call Sal. At Better Call Sal Detailing, we treat your vehicle like it's our own, providing high-quality, meticulous detailing and cleaning. Ask about our exclusive pickup drop-off service for your convenience. Visit bcsdetailing.com for more information and set up an appointment today. Turn that neglected ride into a fresh new ride at Better Call Sal Detailing.
Alrighty, thanks to Better Call Sal. So a couple of things. Yesterday, I told you that I was going to focus this week on some of the scandals and mismanagement at the state level. But before I do that, I do have to take a moment and talk about the leaked draft of a Supreme Court decision. I want to really hone in that it is a draft, even though it's been confirmed that it is a legitimate draft, but it is a draft opinion that has not been approved, voted on, or any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it sent me to bed early yesterday. I heard it and I just had to quit for the day. If this draft is approved, or any form of this draft is approved, it is bigger than Roe versus Wade. You know, I've seen a lot of posts, I've gotten a lot of calls, a lot of texts where people are very concerned about what this means for Roe. I too am concerned about Roe, so much so that I have on my dissent earrings. I'm very concerned, but it's more than that. They have been trying to overturn Roe versus Wade practically my entire lifetime, almost 50 years. They've been trying to overturn it. If they are successful in overturning Roe versus Wade, in the words of Ken Martin, I'll have to say, our rights are not static. What's next? What next rights will they decide weren't in the original Constitution and now have to be rolled back? As someone who is directly affected by some of the constitutional amendments, as a woman and as a Black woman, a lot of my rights were amendments. And so when I think about if they're able to turn back something like Roe versus Wade, that they've been trying so hard to do, and they are successful, what's next? Voting rights, gay marriage, fair housing, interracial marriage, birth control. What is next? Because this will signal a level of power that they've not had before. And so if you are throwing up your hands, which I've seen a lot of people do, okay, well, if they can do this, what do I do? If you're throwing up your hands, I'm going to tell you that's the wrong thing. Now is the time to organize and make sure that you vote and everybody that you know votes, because our rights are under attack. Again, I want to stress that I am aware that this is a draft opinion, but it's legitimate. It is a draft opinion that it's the first draft that they're going through and they're working on the language. And the language about how Roe wasn't part of the Constitution and so it can be overturned, I'm saying that language it's precedent-setting language. It is language absolutely aimed at setting a precedence to undo other rights that we felt like were static. Anything that they decide wasn't part of the Constitution, now this activist Supreme Court can go in and just undo if they don't like it. Every vote counts at every election. And so the folks who say my vote doesn't count, that's a good way to make me mad. But here's what I say. It absolutely counts, even when you don't cast it. Your uncast vote is a signal that we can run over you and don't have to consider you or your rights when laws are being made. That's what an uncast vote means. An uncast vote is a signal that you don't want to be included in the decision-making consideration. You must vote. If you are eligible to vote, you must vote every time there's an election at your precinct. Every time, not just presidential, not just in the midterms, but for city council, for school board, for mayor. Every time that your precinct is open and that little thing out there that says vote here, you need to be voting every time. And if you're not sure if you can keep up with it because it's a lot, sign up for absentee ballots. Sign up for absentee ballots, check the box that says for the rest of the year, and every time there's an election, your ballot will be mailed to your home. That gives you enough time to do the research and mail it back at your leisure by the deadline, but mail it back at your leisure. Sign up for absentee ballots now so that you do not miss another voting opportunity. Okay, so I had to get that out of the way because I don't want you guys to think that I don't watch the news, that I don't know what's going on. And I agree. I don't care if it's white men telling women what to do with their bodies. I don't think anybody, not Black men, Hispanic men, no one should be telling a woman what to do with her body except for that woman. That's truly it. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Now I can't say back to the States, because if this happens, there are so many laws that immediately trigger in Oklahoma, and there will be no exception for rape and incest in Oklahoma. So the same folks who fought about masks, are now asking folks to give birth against their will. The same people who fought about masks are ignoring the fact that a 12-year-old girl can be raped by a neighbor or grandpa and will have to carry that baby to term. Right now in Oklahoma, there are over 7,000 children in foster care. That's right now with limited access to reproductive rights. If we take that away, that number will grow. There are 7,000 kids in foster care in Oklahoma right now. This will only serve to exacerbate the problem of more homeless children. So if this is really about the sanctity of life, we must think about the whole life, not just the life while it's resident in someone else's body, but the whole life. And adding to our foster care system and our adoption system doesn't seem like what it is that we need to be doing. And all the people who say, well, they can just give it up for adoption, you must acknowledge that what you're saying is it is okay to continue to bring children into the world for which we can't guarantee positive outcomes, or we can't make our best shot at positive outcomes. 7,000 kids in the foster care system right here, right today. Okay. I feel like I talk about reproductive rights too often for someone who's not trying to have babies, but it keeps coming up. Now, as promised, I said I was going to talk about some of the corruption in our state. I was going to talk about the stitch storm, the dumpster fire that is our state GOP. And now I'm tired. But I will just give you a running list, and we'll be more specific tomorrow unless we find out that there's some other crazy national thing that's going on. Before our current governor was even sworn in, he had secured a deal that gave his mortgage company a charter bank. Before he even got sworn in, he was using his office to cut special deals for himself. And it didn't stop there, right? So he was sworn in 2019. So we had the banks. He kicked the only doctors off of the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority board. Very recently, in this year, we upped the governor's budget for PR. Our legislature upped the governor's budget for PR. So basically, we are subsidizing the governor's reelection campaign. Shameful. We are spending an inordinate amount of money to entice portions of companies to come here, but not the decision makers. There's the recent no bid contract that he gave to a Florida company to run the COVID relief dollars for education, wherein there was massive abuse because we put no guardrails up. Still don't have our money back from Epic. SWAT lease. Every day there's some new revelation of just how bad of a deal SWAT lease is. I was disgusted when I first read that we told them that they didn't have to worry about turning a profit because we would carry them. That disgusted me enough. Then we find out that they were billing us for stuff that they weren't doing. They weren't pulling permits. And then our governor said, I don't know this guy. This wasn't cronyism. This has nothing to do with me. But then pictures keep coming up with him and the guy, not picture, right? Because I have taken pictures in my position, taking pictures with people who didn't know me. So I imagine our governor is taking pictures with people that he doesn't know. But these pictures of him and his kids and him at this event and that event, and it's not a photo line. It's truly like me and this guy I know are sitting here talking and somebody walks up and takes a picture. He knows Brent Swadley. Brent Swadley knows him. And Brent Swadley got a great deal that the taxpayers are having to bear. We need new leadership in our state. As always, all of my messages come back around to this is why you must vote. This is why we need to elect new leadership. This is why you need to pick a candidate, and you can go out to okdemocrats.org, click on candidates, and it lists all of our candidates. Pick a couple of candidates to get behind and support them now. We need to replace this governor for sure. First and foremost, we need to replace this governor, and we have 2 people running for governor on our side. Go read about them, pick your candidate, and support them now. We have 56 days until the primary. 56 days before Joy Hoffmeister and Connie Johnson will be on a ballot, so that we can pick who our teammate is. We're going to run against it because he has to go. Wouldn't it be great if he didn't make it out of the primary? But he has to go because he's a businessman. And I think that was in vogue 4 or 5 years ago that we were going to elect businessmen. And in both of the incidences that I'm aware of, it has not played out well for us. Has not played out well for us at all. Let's hire someone who understands that their job is to improve the lives of Oklahomans, because this guy doesn't care. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15. Have a great one.